She's the Aussie that we all know and love. She's Nicole Kidman. While we've watched her grace our screens with her beauty and talent on screen, she's had to fight personal battles that would seem like a nightmare come true. Unfortunately for Nicole, it was more than a nightmare. It was her life. From a sick mother to a marriage that crumbled into a messy divorce for the whole world to see. Who would have thought that Tom Cruise would abandon his wife when she needed him most? She may be happily married to the love of her life today, but in order for her to get to a point in her life where she finally felt content, Nicole has had to face more hurdles than we could have ever imagined.
I mean, I think it was, to be completely honest, I was running from my life at that time. I wasn't able to handle the reality of my life. And as an actor, you have this wonderful thing where you can go and get lost in somebody else's life.
You're watching Rumour Juice, your go-to channel for everything Hollywood. Remember to hit that notification bell so that you can know when we upload new content. For a woman who has over 80 film and TV credits under her belt, she's not who you might think at first glance. Ever since she was a young child, Nicole has always been terribly shy. When she was a young girl, she battled with a stutter, and her struggle to speak led her to avoid people. I just remember everyone always saying to me, "Calm down, think about what you're gonna say." I remember when I was little, just being so excited to get it out and I couldn't. I grew out of it, the actress recalled. As she grew older and found a way to tackle her anxiety, she grew out of her stutter but still remained shy. She admitted that this trait of her character could often come across as misunderstood coldness, and she never means to come across as impolite. To this day, she still doesn't like going into crowded restaurants or a party on her own. At just the age of 17, Kidman was well on her way to fame. Unfortunately, her life took a tragic turn when her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Nicole dropped everything to be by her mother's side and made sure to be there for her for whatever she needed. It was an incredibly frightening time for the upcoming actress, who feared for her mom's life. I think that imprinted on me for the rest of my life. Seeing her go through that pain and also seeing her strength and her grace gave me my commitment to this cause for the rest of my life. Hollywood can be a scary place, especially for young women. When Nicole met Tom Cruise, she didn't just see a man she could love, but a man that could protect her too. He had already established his fame as an actor and had made his mark as the charming action star and heartthrob to millions of fans all over the world. Nicole was still finding her footing as a celebrity. Handling her newfound fame when she had always been so incredibly shy was something she found overwhelming. It was during a viewing of the 1989 Australian film Dead Calm that Cruise first set his eyes on Kidman. Like many of Nicole's fans, Tom was put under the spell of her beauty. He began putting things in motion to meet her in person, to maybe cast her in a movie, and perhaps a little more. However, at the time, he was in the process of divorcing his first wife, Mimi Rogers. Finally, the pair met on the set of Days of Thunder in 1989, and in short, Kidman fell hard for her fellow cast member.
I remember being so nervous and seeing Tom Cruise drive up in a Porsche, I think it was, and he got out of the car and walked through, and I was like, and my jaw dropped.
He basically swept me off my feet. I fell madly, passionately in love. And as happens when you fall in love, my whole plan in terms of what I wanted for my life, I was like, forget it, this is it. Together, the duo starred as romantic opposites in the 1990s Days of Thunder. And once Cruise's divorce from Mimi went through, he married Nicole that very same year. I got married very young, but it definitely wasn't power for me. It was protection. I married for love, but being married to an extremely powerful man kept me from being sexually harassed. Sadly, while she saw Tom as a man who would protect her from the harsh reality of Hollywood, he was not able to protect her from heartbreak. Early on in their marriage, Nicole desperately wanted to become a mother and have a big family. I was desperate to have a baby with him. I didn't care if we were married, she admitted. The actress suffered from an ectopic pregnancy, which occurs when the fertilized egg has been implanted outside of the uterus and can't survive. If the pregnancy continues, it could damage nearby organs and cause life-threatening loss of blood. To make matters worse, the ectopic pregnancy was misreported by the press as a miscarriage. It was a painful experience for Nicole, and having something so personal printed all over the tabloids for the whole world to read felt violating.
Do I look that unhappy?
You look tired.
The couple decided to take parenthood into their own hands, and they quickly went on to adopt 2 children, a daughter, Isabella Jane Cruz, and a son, Connor Anthony. She was enjoying the bliss of motherhood, but it was followed by more bumps along the road. Nicole Kidman experienced another loss on her road towards building a family when she had a miscarriage. The loss of a miscarriage is not talked about enough. That's massive grief to certain women. There's an enormous amount of pain, she confessed when speaking about her experience. The very same year she suffered a miscarriage, Tom filed for divorce. Nicole was completely shocked, and she had no idea how to process the sudden news. She was already in such a fragile state from her miscarriage, and now she was going to have to mourn the loss of her marriage too. She said in a candid and rare interview about her marriage to Tom, "Our life together was perfect. It took me a very long time to heal. It was a shock to my system."
I loved Nick very much. There's no question.
Would you like Nicole to remarry?
Yes. I want Nicole to be happy. That's what I want.
Cruz has always been an outspoken believer in the religion Scientology, which by definition is a religion that offers a precise path leading to a complete and certain understanding of one's true spiritual nature and one's relationship to the Supreme Being. At the start of their marriage, it seemed that Nicole took an interest in the religion. However, she allegedly did so because she felt pressured into playing the role of a good wife. Her interest only lasted about 2 years, and she proceeded to leave the religion after some rather strange incidents that occurred. Although it can't be confirmed, it's alleged that there were people spying on Nicole after she took a step back from the religion.
They had a spy in the house. In the relationship, Michael Dovan was the personal assistant to Tom Cruise, and he was feeding information back to head office about what Nicole was saying about Scientology, what was going on in the relationship.
She was also labeled as a suppressive person by Scientologists. This label means that the person in question is not a good influence on the Scientologist's life and needs to be cut out ASAP. Supposedly, the story goes, leaders in Scientology were so concerned that Kidman was pulling Cruz away from the religion, they began to conspire to end the marriage, something it had been rumored they had previously done with Cruz's first wife, Mimi Rogers.
Well, yeah, when I was at the celebrity church, he wasn't around. He wasn't on services, and I was told from them that it was because Nicole Kidman was an influence on him.
And not a good one.
And not a good one.
While Cruz had asked for shared custody of their adopted children, it seems that both Connor and Isabella had chosen to stay with their father, rather than stay with Nicole. They also chose to follow their father's footsteps when it came to religion too. Nicole has previously spoken out about her children's beliefs, saying, "They are adults. They are able to make their own decisions. They have made choices to be Scientologists. And as a mother, it's my job to love them." Nicole has always preferred to be tight-lipped about their relationship, explaining, "I don't want to take away from 11 years with that man that were really important. Really, for our kids. They were amidst a lot of love. It wasn't bad. And now we're amidst a more evolved love." Thankfully, loneliness was not in the cards for Nicole, and 4 years after the messy divorce of her first marriage, she found her great love with singer Keith Urban. I swear to you, she glided across the room, floated. I don't know how she did it. It was out of this world, and there was a split moment where she wasn't with anybody, and I thought, I'll just go up and say hi. Keith said about the moment he first laid eyes on Nicole.
We found each other in this huge world, and we're crazy about each other, you know?
The couple have now been married for about 15 years, which in Hollywood terms is roughly equivalent to 50 years. But despite their long, dedicated love for one another and successful careers in the spotlight, the two have managed to keep their private life, well, very private.
But I also don't like discussing exes and all of that because I'm married. I'm very happily married. I have 2 little girls, and I feel it's almost disrespectful, one to Tom and disrespectful to Keith. So I try to stay in the here and now.
Still, whenever they post about each other on social media or attend a red carpet event together, it's pretty clear that they were made for each other. However, just 1 month into their new marriage, the couple had to face their first seemingly impossible challenge. Nicole had to stage an intervention for Keith, who went on to get treatment for addiction and spent 3 months at an inpatient facility. Keith said, "I caused the implosion of my fresh marriage. It survived, but it's a miracle it did. For the first time in my life, I could shake off the shackles of addiction." And he went on to attribute the success of his sobriety to Nicole, who never left his side and supported him throughout his time in rehab. Keith also did his part in supporting Kidman when her father died suddenly after suffering a fall.
He has been so good to me, for 9 years, but for the last sort of month, which has been a really tough time for me, to have, when you have your partner who just literally carries you through a tough time,
Nicole's mother was dealing with terrible grief following her husband's death. They were together for 50 years. It's awful to see, so sad. Nicole said about her father's passing. Nicole revealed that their secret to a happy marriage is to always make time for one another. She said that when she's not working, she dedicates herself to her family. "I'm married to a really good man, and the kids have a great father, and that's a very beautiful thing to be able to say." Isn't it special to hear couples gushing over one another? It sounds like she's finally living the fairy tale love story that she deserves.